Hey everyone, how's it going? So this is a pretty funny video to watch. Cenk Uygur just absolutely having a meltdown over Asmongold. By the way, if anybody ever sees my tabs again and says that I am you know, crazy for having too many tabs open, I just want y'all to realize right here. I want you to look at this. This psychopath, whoever this person is that uploaded this, I've never seen anybody have so many tabs open. So, yeah, just saying. It's been a long time since somebody's called me out for that. But, just saying. I don't even have a quarter of those tabs. Anyway,
hey, if you're a Democrat and you're criticizing the right wing, now think about it if the shoe was on the other foot. Now, this brother comes along. I don't know who Assman is. I mean, people say maybe that he's got a following, but I've never heard of him, right?
Wow, what a funny joke. Assman, you really got him.
And his co-conspirator, Jägermeister or whatever, right? But this guy's talking.
We actually have no idea who that even is. I don't know who he's talking about. Asman didn't know who he was talking about. I don't think anybody knows who he's talking about. Jägermeister? Who? I have no idea. So, Cenk is just actually off his rocker. Doesn't do any research. That's typical. That's typical for people related to Hassan Piker.
About, oh yeah, run over protesters. I don't mind it, he said. So you don't.
Just run over protesters. So people are driving onto the sidewalk, right? And just hitting people that are holding up signs and being peaceful. Is that what you're implying? Or are you saying that the people who are literally false imprisoning others, holding them against their will, not allowing them to move and surrounding their vehicles, that's called false imprisonment. You support false imprisonment? That's a legitimate, tactic for peaceful protesting? You think that should be protected? That's what Cenk is talking about? False imprisonment should be protected. You've heard it here from Cenk Uygur first.
Don't mind extreme violence, running over somebody with a car, okay? But you know what? Why don't we instead arrest them for exercising one of the most fundamental American rights, freedom of speech? The one, remember that.
Well, I've never, ever spoken before and had an entire road blocked off due to my words. That has never happened before. I've never said, everyone listen to me, and everyone was just forced to stop. That's never happened. I don't think you understand what free speech is, Cenk. You can't falsely imprison someone and expect it to be classified as free speech.
Assman and Jägermeister didn't mean it. They thought, oh, freedom of speech for me, to say that maybe you should be murdered or be made my slave. My freedom of speech, good. And by the way, I wouldn't cancel that. I don't mind him saying the terrible things that he says. Now we know who he is. So, and I'm not afraid of his speech.
Running over somebody who is actively trying to harm you and falsely imprison you is not protected free speech, buddy.
I'm not afraid that the majority of Americans are going to look at that and go, oh yeah, well, I think we should, instead of having freedom of speech, if anyone exercises freedom of speech in a way that I don't like politically, we should arrest them, take away all their rights, make sure they can't vote, and then turn them into slaves. No, 98% of Americans are.
Nobody's ever suggested that. So where did you get this information from? Let's hear it.
Going to be against that. But Assman thinks that's a great idea. So he's like, oh yeah, I'm for freedom of speech, unless it's left-wingers. How dare they protest our government? Let's take away all their rights. Did you see what he said? Make sure they can't ever vote again. And I don't know if his followers.
What are you talking about? People who throw bricks at others, that's called assault. It's a felony. If you hit somebody with it, if you hit somebody with a rock, depending on the damage you do, that's a felony. That's assault. That's battery. You can't do that. Cenk, why would you think that assaulting someone and hurting somebody is okay? Those type of people should be arrested. They should be charged with a felony, which means they can't vote anymore. And if they go to prison, yeah, I agree. I agree that they should be going out and picking up trash in our streets on a chain gang. What's wrong with that? Why is that an issue? I think they should be doing something for society for causing harm to society. I don't think that's an issue at all. Why is that looked at as disgusting? Oh no, they can't get paid because they decided to smash someone in the face with a rock? That's insane. Oh no, they surrounded a vehicle with kids in it, and they started beating the crap out of the vehicle, smashing the windows and stuff, and you just expect that family to take it. That's pretty disgusting, Cenk. Maybe don't defend that kind of action because nobody is suggesting anyone drive up on a sidewalk and run people over. That's not what anybody has suggested here at all.
We're like, what an idiot. We said freedom of speech, dumbass, okay? Or if they're like, yeah, we hate freedom of speech now that we're in charge.
What are you talking about? Then, Cenk has absolutely lost his mind. This poor guy, he's just, he needs to probably be sent to an asylum and checked out. I think he's completely off his gourd. Look at this. Dude is completely out of it.
Yeah, let's turn them into slaves. Are 13 people watching that show? Who would like that kind of monstrously un-American piece of crap like
3,000
that
people
who doesn't
watching
believe in
right now.
America at all.
I mean, I don't consume content like this. I can't imagine that Asmongold, whatever his name is, I can't imagine that he
Asmongold. Okay. We don't need to hear that lady talk at all. Let's see here. So, 23,000 in one day is how much TYT did. Why are you insulting Asmongold at all? You have 6 million subscribers, 780 likes. That's pathetic. Asmongold, less subscribers, 248,000 views, 19,000 likes. I wonder which one is botting. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, isn't it? So anyway, after Cenk went on his attack for Asmongold, we see Asmongold respond here.
Completely irrational, totally fucking self-serving, disgusting expectation, and it's entitled on a degree that puts people's lives in danger. It's totally insane, and anybody who supports throwing bricks as being a protester is actively lying to you and trying to make you not understand what's happening. And so throwing a small rock, you shouldn't be throwing rocks at anybody. You think they're going to measure the rock? I'm not going to measure the rock. Stop throwing rocks at people, you fucking retard.
Yeah. Don't defend it. I don't care if it's a pebble. You know, a well-placed... If you actually were... Because this happened in my school, actually. I remember this very specifically. It wasn't with a rock, but... If you get a small rock... Let's use, I don't know... we'll use my guitar pick here. Is like this, you know. You could take a pick like this, right? Even a pick can technically do harm. This won't. This should bounce off really anything unless the point. Because this is a sharp pick I use. I like my sharp pick there. Very good brand. Who are these guys? Shout them out, right? Spearhead picks. Very cool. Very, very good stuff. I like them. I could throw this. If I just catch someone in the eye, the amount of damage you could do to somebody's eyeball with so little force, with so little friction too, it's unbelievable. I found out the hard way. You could go back about 3 years ago when my youngest daughter, I was playing peekaboo with her, and she's just 7-month-old little baby. And her hands came up like this. Well, I don't know if you know this, but babies have tiny, tiny, tiny little fingernails. And they are razor thin. And she got my eye, and I had to wear an eye patch for a week. And it was probably the most painful experience I think I've ever had. I've never, like, a good example, okay? I've always experienced things pain-wise, and always expected them to be worse and found out they weren't. Had my entire nail come off my toe, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, man, that would... Imagine ripping a nail out, you know? Sounds horrific. Actually not as bad as I expected it to be. Genuinely. I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. Okay, it sucks. It's uncomfortable, but it's not that bad at all. Getting a root canal, you know? Going in, getting one of those. I've only had one. So it was like, oh, God, I'm not ready for this. As it turns out, when you get... I didn't know this, but if your previous dentist didn't do a good job on a filling, I got a filling when I was 16, and if they don't do a good enough job on sealing it properly, turns out actually they just didn't do the job at all. They put a cap on something when there was it wasn't properly fixed, and it'll just keep going and eating that tooth. That sucked to find out. So I had to go get a root canal. Nowhere near as bad as I thought it was. Getting your eye cut, 1,000,000 times worse than I ever actually could have imagined. It was so unbelievably painful, even having just my eyes shut and everything. There was not a point in time where I could even get comfortable at all. So that was actually a significantly worse pain than I could have imagined. And just taking a little rock and chucking it and hitting someone in the eye, it can do an immense amount of damage that you wouldn't believe. Like, if that happened. Now, in my school, it was very, very unfortunate. I knew who the kid was, too. I'm not going to name any names or anything. I was in 6th grade. He got a rubber band. We were in the gymnasium, and he put a paper clip up in it, and he shot it just straight up in the air, and it just arced, and it took a kid's eye out permanently. Permanently. It was a huge ordeal. It was an absolute, like, you just couldn't help but feel bad for everyone involved. The school really wanted to clap down on my friend who ended up shooting the rubber band. Or shooting the paper clip out of the rubber band. And it was like, look, no, there was no intent here. Like, I understand if you got to, because that shouldn't have been allowed to happen, a suspension for sure. But they were wanting to, like, get police involved. And they wanted to get, like, assault charges on the kid. They wanted to get him permanently expelled. And he wasn't a bad kid or anything. He just made a really dumb decision. Wasn't aiming at anyone. He's like, look at this, pop. And wanted to see how far it would go. Didn't realize that a kid would just happen to look up and that paper clip actually just embedded itself Like I said, it was a horrific scene. I don't want to get into it. But at the end of the day, when you're throwing something at someone as an adult, you have to understand that the consequences should be incredibly, incredibly severe. As a child, it's one thing, right? Because we learn over time we shouldn't be doing this. As an adult, I can understand accidental to a degree, but when you're throwing things at people, it's no longer considered an accident. You shouldn't be throwing things at people. I can understand if someone's like, let's see how far this rock can go, and they throw it, and they're watching for, like, you know, not really aiming for a person or anything. They're just trying to throw it, and then a person just happens to walk by and hit it. That's totally different. But the intent during the protest, they're not throwing these rocks to see how far these rocks can go. They're throwing these rocks to see who can get hit by them. That's a completely different situation. Entirely.
Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you thinking? You're talking about, oh, it's a small rock, so it's okay. So if you shoot a 9mm at a police officer, should they treat that differently than a 5.56?
Yeah, right, exactly. Smaller bullets, so, you know, therefore it should be different, right?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Stop throwing rocks at people. Stop doing this. It's insane. So, no, 5.56 is small. Yeah, it's an outrageous, ridiculous concept that people are trying to bring up. And fundamentally, what they're doing is they're trying to lie. And that's also what matters the most. And so anyway, that was the context of me talking about using live ammo on protesters. And it's at that point, they're not protesters. They are criminal rioters that are trying to kill people. And
exactly. And that's the thing. If Cenk Uygur has an actual issue with that, then he's just the most un-American person. Shocker. Shocker that a guy who literally named himself after a genocidal maniac, like, not maniac, but a entire government of maniacs, you know what I mean? That genocided Armenians, you know, would actually be incredibly un-American. Who would have known that a guy who is literally not going after Hassan for all the garbage that Hassan has been putting forward. Now, he's kind of clapped back at Hassan a little bit, but not very much because, you know, it's his precious little nephew. You know, it's so shocking to me that somebody like that came from that horrible region, you know, of horrible things being committed, which, guess what? Turkey ain't much better today. They just found a different target. Kind of gross, you know. Would be, you know, pro-leftist doing violence.
And yes, I do think that they should be shot. Absolutely. And I think
Agreed.
also, if somebody did this to you in your private house or in public, I think you should have the right to shoot them as well.
Yeah.
So, for example, like if you're in public and somebody's throwing a brick at you and you shoot them, I think that's self-defense and it's completely fine.
Right.
So a police officer
Same
should
with
be
the car. If somebody throws a brick at me at my car and I just happen to take them out with my front bumper, tough. Don't throw stuff at me. I don't have to deal with it.
entitled to that same thing, and they shouldn't be expected to be taking bricks from people. It's an outrageous thing, and nobody should expect to have to ever deal with that. This is
agreed for sure. We'll just go ahead and we'll move on here now. And XQC even came out to defend Asmongold on this. This is kind of wild. This is Asmon. I guess this is XQC's redemption arc here or something.
But Asman thinks that's a great idea. So he's like, oh, yeah, I'm for freedom of speech, unless it's left-wingers. How dare they protest our government? Let's take away all their rights.
Is this XQC that has all these freaking things open?
Joe Rogan, low-key. No, Joe Rogan, fucking Alex Jones, sorry. Alex Jones, yeah. So it looks like,
Did you see what he said?
Leftist
Make sure they can't ever
Alex
vote again.
Jones.
And I don't know if his followers were
He's tried so hard to become leftist Alex Jones. It's insulting, to be honest.
like, what an idiot.
He's tried for
You said
decades.
freedom of speech, dumbass. Okay? Or if they're like, yeah, we hate freedom of speech now that we're in charge. Let's turn them into slaves. Are 13 people watching that show? Who would like that kind of monstrously un-American piece
Yeah.
of
Okay,
crap
he's watching
like
the same
that?
video as
Who
me.
doesn't
Whoever
believe
the
in America
psychopath, I gotta know who's the psychopath that has this many tabs open. It's the same video.
at all.
I mean, I don't consume content like this. I can't imagine that Asmongold, whatever his name is, I can't imagine that he is watching this show right now either.
well, if people are much more likely to be watching his show than this fucking piece of shit. If you
Right?
have this because you're on TV,
That's
because
so
your
funny.
shit it hits the fucking mainstream television, you have more authority. People are more likely to watch Asmongold, Jägermeister, Conspirator, whatever the fuck, than this shit fucking washed up dog shit.
It's not just more likely, it's proven. That's the funny thing about it, too. That's what sucks for the Young Turks. It's proven. We just looked at their numbers. Their numbers are so bad. The numbers are dwindling. There's nothing they're going to be able to do. 5 years from now, the Young Turks probably won't exist. Genuinely. I don't think they'll exist as they are. I don't think they're going to be pulling in 23,000 views a video. I genuinely don't.
What are these losers saying these days, man? They have some sort of authority because they're on air, buddy. That's crazy.
Yeah, anyway, so it's kind of wild to see that. And then Tectone here, of course, to end this out. Tectone and Nagundam spectate that Hassan made the boss call to Uncle Cenk about Asmongold, you know? No way Hassan tattled on Asmon. To his animal... yeah. Uncle there. What the F? You know? Let's see. Guess Hassan complained to his uncle again. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like that to me. Seems like that he's trying to pull out all the stops and get all the allies he can to possibly try and clap back at this. But as for the next video, you know, it'll be about Hassan again, and it's going to be really funny. So join me for that one. That video should be uploaded here before too long. Thank you all for watching. No live stream today, by the way, guys. I've got a very, very, very busy Saturday. I will live stream tomorrow. So, you know, figure out the exact time. It's always going to be sometime between 3 p.m., 5 p.m., so don't worry. There's that. I'll probably try to go a little bit on the later side, just because you guys seem to like that more. But if not, comment down in the comment section below when you'd like me to go live. Tell me what you guys think about this as well. Please like, subscribe, and share. Link in the Discord, or link in the description below to go to my Discord, and I will see you guys here in the next one. Later.